Hello, welcome to White Tarot, where the reader is bubbly, but today is tired. Sorry the channel's been neglected a lot lately. I just started a new job and I've already been working hella overtime. It's okay though. I'm tired, but it's a good kind of tired because this is an exciting opportunity for me. So, being a Taurus, I guess the last reading that I did, the last 3 card pull that I did about this 4th week of October being um a powerful time for manifestation was pretty accurate. So I'd like to hear it if any other Taurus peeps out there have been seeing the same kind of luck. But I am currently so tired that I forgot to record on the other screen, and then I was already like a third of the way in on the video. So this is actually take 2. But I have been getting pulled to do this last week of October reading a little earlier than I normally would. Probably what the feeling that I'm getting is because one of the zodiac signs is going to need a little extra of a heads up for whatever's coming. So we shall see what we get. All right, so we're doing the last week of October 3-card pull for all zodiac signs. Let's see. Starting with Aries. Well, that was easy. All right. 6 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, Mother of Wands. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of closed up energy in contrast to this nostalgic energy. So, Aries, I'll be honest, it feels like there's something in your past that you are feeling nostalgic about. Maybe it's also because the weather is changing. We are getting a lot of gloomier weather now. It's getting colder. People tend to reminisce on the past or get all sad and mopey about it. But in response to that energy, I also see the 4 of Pentacles and the Mother of Wands, and both of these are pretty like self-defense, self-preservation, closed in energy. So whatever this is, it looks like you're guarding yourself from. And another thing that I'm being pulled to talk about is that people do really dumb things when they are trying to avoid emotion. People tend to have a hard time just sitting and feeling what they feel and allowing themselves to feel it, allowing the grief to move through them, whatever this is. And that is exactly the mechanism that causes a lot of people to turn to drugs, alcohol, bad relationships, toxic relationships with just the first person that they could find after, hanging out with the wrong crowd to distract themselves, going out every single day just so that they don't sit at home and think. People do a lot of stuff just to avoid their feelings. So whatever this is that you're feeling nostalgic about and you're trying to block off, try to be mindful of the ways in which you're distracting yourself, because that could lead to self-destruction. So, all right. Now, Taurus. 9 of Swords. I feel it. The Star. Whoa. Okay, that was supposed to be a 3-card pull, but we got a bunch more. What do we got? Daughter of Swords, Ace of Swords, and the 2 of Pentacles. Okay. All right, so it looks like we're starting off with the 9 of Swords, and that's self-destructive energy. That's basically like anxiety, grief, depression, but it's self-imposed. Because the threat is no longer there. That's what this card represents to me. The threat is no longer there. With the Star, the Daughter of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and the 2 of Pentacles, this feels like, ooh, that's a hard nuance to try to describe. Okay, let's say you're presented with chocolate cake. Okay? You're presented with chocolate cake, but you are, let's say you're diabetic, And you know that eating that cake is going to destroy you. And you're in a weird place between wanting that chocolate cake, but knowing that it is bad for you and you should not eat it. It's like a weird in between. You know, it's kind of that grief that you feel because there's something that you want, the star, but also teeter-tottering between that grief and, shall I say, a sense of pride in the wisdom that you're acting on, making decisions based on, to not indulge in the thing that you know is bad for you. Daughter of Swords. Ace of Swords, it's almost like the fog is clearing on that decision. It's like where you've been teeter-tottering between, oh, this is bad for me, but I want it, but it's bad for me, but I want it. But I'm also kind of proud of myself for not just jumping on it where I normally would have, for not holding on to it, knowing that it's bad for me just because I can't resist the wanting. Where the old version of me would have done that. I'm proud of myself for choosing differently this time. That's what this feels like. And it's because the Daughter of Swords is a mind energy with a hint of heart, but it turns into the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Swords is a lot more clear, a lot more decisive, a lot more, dare I say, harsh. It's a truth, it's clarity. And so it feels like the fog is clearing around this situation. But why does that turn into the Two of Pentacles? Because the Two of Pentacles is about juggling. It's about decisions. Judgment. Yeah. It looks like once you gain clarity, that juggling energy, that I don't know what I should do, you know, because there's a reason that you want this thing, right? There is a reason. There are good things in this thing that you want. And that's what's keeping you tethered to it, is wanting the good parts of it. But what causes this juggling is the fact that you also, it's been made very clear that this thing is toxic for you. This thing is bad for you. And going for it would be self-destructive. So it's like, once you finally get your clarity and go, okay, I don't care how much I want this thing. It's bad for me. And I need to prioritize my well-being. I need to rip my heart away from this, even if it hurts, once and for all. That juggling energy turns into judgment, and that's finality. So it looks like you're giving yourselves closure in the last week of October. And that's something that I was pondering the other day, that we tend to seek closure from other people. We tend to wait and hold on for that apology or something more drastic to make us make up our minds. But clarity and closure, it, when you really think about it, it's not an external process. You know, whether or not the person apologizes, whether or not they do something so nuts that you make up your mind, on the inside, the door stays open until you decide to close it. Closure is an internal process, and it's not up to anyone else. You give yourself closure. Closure is for you to create for yourself. And I think that the healthiest form of closure is the realization that you're going to do what's best for you, no matter how you feel about it. You're going to do whatever it takes to make yourself happy in the long run. That you're going to prioritize your long-term well-being and happiness, no matter what you have to cut out of your life or who. So yeah, to sum this one up, you're closing the door the last week of October. All right. Next, we're doing Gemini. Four of Swords. Justice, Father of Cups, Ace of Cups. So with Gemini in the last week of October, I'm seeing just a little bit of contemplation, contemplative energy. Gemini's been in that energy for a while now, but in this reading, it's only popping up a little bit in the beginning. So I'm seeing, it's like I'm watching you come out of it. But the strange thing is that the Justice card being here, it feels like an external thing that gets you out of it. Whether this be in a good way or a bad way, I can't tell. As in contemplation, 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 and finally someone messes up just badly enough that you're like, okay, I've made up my mind, I'm done. Or someone does something to redeem the situation in just the way you needed. So it's almost like I'm seeing two different paths here. But there's a contemplative energy, a decisive energy. And the Father of Cups is about pouring your cup into yourself. It's about self-love. And then we have the Ace of Cups, which is an offering from the heart. So this almost feels like either way, whether you proceed with someone else or you decide to go your own way, you close this chapter with love. First and foremost for yourself. This is such a strange and multifaceted reading. Because another thing that I get from this is that in learning to love yourself through this experience, the Ace of Cups feels like a fresh new energy, as in, it's like what's coming to mind is you learned how to offer love the right way. Not draining yourself, not chiseling away at yourself to fit someone else. You're offering love from a place of wholeness. So this is really interesting because there's three different paths here. I almost feel like I'll ruin this if I ask for clarity on justice. Hierophant. Okay. Honestly, this could be a spiritual download. This could be your intuition finally bringing you something. It's like the last piece of the puzzle that you needed to move forward one way or another. I wonder if the last week of October is all about closure. Because I just read a similar thing with Taurus. But Gemini, it looks like whatever you're dealing with, whatever you've been dealing with, is coming to a close. And it ends with love. All right. Now, Cancer. Nope, that's way too many. I feel the need to note that I just heard whistling. So for Cancer, we've got the Son of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and the Magician. Fast communication coming in. This feels almost impulsive. But the Eight of Swords is my growing under pressure card. That's about the chrysalis coming out at the right time. You know what this feels like? Along with the Magician here, which is about manifestation, this feels like you're riding a wave. It's like you're surfing. And it's almost like you're getting the urge to get up on that wave, but something's telling you, nope, not yet. Hold back just a little bit. Wait for it. Something bigger's coming in. I almost feel the need to say, don't take the first thing that lands on your lap. Don't take the first thing that lands on your lap. Pay more attention to timing. Because I feel like the first thing that comes in, it's going to be amazing, and you're going to want to jump on it, but it's like you have to jump through a lot of hoops to make it work. But if you wait a minute, something better is coming. So, Cancer, your advice for the last week of October, take the second thing. If you have to jump through too many hoops to make it work, that ain't it. Take the second thing. All right. Going into Leo. Four of Swords again. Hierophant again. I hate to say it this way, but the first thing that came to mind is you didn't listen to your intuition. So I have the Four of Swords, and that's also the card of staying put. It's about holding still. Rest, recovery, but also it's stillness. Hierophant comes in, and that's about deeper wisdom, higher knowledge. And then we have the Five of Pentacles, and that's about loss. And the feeling that I'm getting here, Leo, is like, it's like you're gambling. And there was a split second where something told you need to call it now. And you didn't. Your intuition told you something and you ignored it. And that leads to a loss. I'm talking like it's in past tense, but I also get the feeling that this is about to happen. This hasn't happened yet. So take this as the warning that if your intuition all of a sudden goes, fold, call it now, take the L, because you can recover faster if you walk away now. But if you hold on when your intuition told you to let go, it's going to be harder. It's going to make things harder. But there is no scenario here where you get to stay, where you get to hold on. This isn't a choice of keep it or lose it. This is a choice between let go or lose it. Interesting. All right. Next, we are getting into Virgo. Virgos are tight-lipped this week. There we go. Okay. 10 of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles, and the Chariot. What this feels like, and that's probably why the energy felt tight-lipped. It's like something good just happened for you. Something came in. But that's not the end of the plan for you. That's not all there is for you. It's like something good happened. Let's say you finally got a loan approved or something, and you got all this money. But you're planning on investing it, or you're planning on starting a business with it. It's like the good thing happened, but that's not where this ends. And so you're keeping your mouth shut until you proceed to step 2. But what this feels like is like step 1, obtaining this thing, has been a heck of a time. This doesn't feel like it came easy. This feels like a culmination of work. And then we've got the 2 of Pentacles. And I'd normally just simply say that this is juggling, making decisions, but this feels like now it's like you had a plan, And now you're refining that plan. So there's a lot more thinking, a lot more decision making into the specifics that is happening. And once you've solidified this plan, we have the Chariot moving you forward into victory. So Virgo, it looks like something good happened for you, but you have a bigger plan than that. That was only step one. And now you're proceeding into step two. As far as timing, this feels like for some it's already happened. For others, it's about to. So, looks like good things are coming in for Virgos last week of October. All right. Moving on to Libra. The Lovers. Picking this pile. The Empress. And the Four of Cups. All right, Libras. The Lovers is not just about romantic relationships. It's about making a choice. And this feels like you choose yourself with the Empress being here. As a result of that, though, or kind of as a byproduct of that, there's an opportunity that you have to let pass. So this feels like a decision that you make while grieving and mourning it at the same time. This feels like ending something that you wanted to continue. Because this doesn't feel like, yeah, I made the right choice. I'm good. I'm happy. I decided. This feels like I'm choosing me. But choosing me means losing something else. And there's going to be a recovery period from that. There's going to be a period of time where you're going to have to process that loss the right way. Something about preparedness. It's almost like you make the choice, but you're not yet fully prepared to deal with the loss of what you lose in choosing yourself. The advice here, this feels like a reminder that the right decision isn't always the one that's going to make you happy. And being happy isn't always the right thing when you don't quite yet know what happiness is supposed to feel like. Because something that's coming to mind is, for example, people that go out and drink every night to avoid their feelings. They're happy. They think they're happy. But the fact in itself that they have to use a substance to avoid something inside them shows you that they are deeply unhappy. So, contemplate this as you make your decision. It seems like it is the right decision, but it's almost like there's a string and it's frayed. And that fray, that weak point, is a matter of willpower. Whether or not that string holds is a matter of willpower. If you make the decision, stick with it. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if the processing is painful. If you make the decision, stick with it. Because it is the right thing. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's painful, even if it doesn't feel like the right thing. There's going to be a period of time where you're going to question that, whether or not you did the right thing. Because people start to think of what ifs when they are uncomfortable with what is. So this is a push to sit in that. Sit in that until you finally manage to give yourself closure. Because closure is not something that can come from anyone else. Even with an apology, even with a whole goodbye speech, even with closure texts, you won't feel the closure until you give it to yourself, until you close the door within yourself. So I know I've said this like a gajillion times, but when you make the decision, stick with it. When you question yourself, strengthen your resolve. Something told me you needed to hear that. All right, moving on to Scorpio. Oh, all right. 3 of Wands, 3 of Cups, High Priestess. Huh. This is an interesting one. This feels like you're letting intuition take the lead and it's taking you places. Because 3 of Cups is about harmony. It's about people getting together, connecting. 3 of Wands is about opportunities coming in. High Priestess is about intuition. So this feels like you're letting your intuition take the lead. And it's bringing you to the right people. And the right people are bringing you the right things. You're making connections that will help you in the long run. One little tidbit of warning is that something here tells me that it's important for you to remember to value these connections from a genuine place. Because there's like networking for job opportunities, let's say, right? And you meet someone and they lead you to a job. And it's your dream job. You get the job. Don't forget to call them and say thank you. And don't forget to keep them in mind when you have an opportunity for them. This is kind of one of those things where it's like, it's teeter-tottering energetically between strategic and genuine connection. So something's telling me that this will work better for you. I'm not saying that it won't work unless. This feels more like this will work better for you. If the connections that you're making are coming from a genuine place. Because it is that genuineness that's going to incline people towards giving you more. And now that I'm telling you that, it makes it even harder to not just be purely strategic in this, but that's what this feels like. So when you meet people, when you let your intuition lead you to the right people, make sure to only keep them if you actually like them as people. All right. Now, getting into Sagittarius. Okay. So we have the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Cups, Justice, and the 8 of Swords. What I'm getting from this is that something that was a heavy burden, something that was heavy on your mind, I'm also feeling guilt, is turning into a 10 of Pentacles. It's turning into a more emotionally fulfilling situation for you. And this just feels like a change in mindset. I don't feel any external energies that have really changed much. This feels like you flipped a switch in your head and started seeing things a little differently. I say that because we also have the Justice and the 8 of Swords cards here. Justice is decisiveness. Justice is a decision. And the 8 of Swords is about growing under pressure. 8 of Swords is, in the traditional deck, about being stuck, trapped, blindfolded. But in this deck, they chose to put a chrysalis here, a cocoon. surrounded by swords. So what this feels like to me is it's like a butterfly that needs to emerge at just the right time. And as soon as that butterfly gets out, it can just get away. It can fly away from all those swords. But it can't rush the process, because what's a butterfly doing in a chrysalis? It's growing. It's developing. And it can't wait. It can't stay there because it's scared of the swords outside. It has to get out of there, or else it'll get stuck and die. So this feels like you were in a situation like that, where you felt trapped. But in that stuckness, you were growing, you were developing. And once that justice moment hit, once you flipped that switch in your mind, you just mentally turned 10 wands into 10 cups. I think another thing of it is that sometimes the situations that we're in really is just a matter of mindset. I don't think that it's a glove that fits everyone. I think that a lot of the time, the situation genuinely needs to be changed. Action needs to be taken. But also, a lot of the time, people tend to focus on the wrong thing so hard that they drill themselves into a hole. And it feels like you're getting out of that because something in you has changed. And I think that's one of the tougher things in life, is figuring out if your unhappiness is really just a matter of changing your external circumstances, if something outside of yourself is to blame and it's time to move, or if it's just a matter of your mindset and it's time to be still until it feels more right. That's the toughest thing in navigating life, is knowing when you're being called to move versus when you're being called to be still. Because both times you're sitting in some sort of discomfort. It looks like whatever this was, you were being called to be still. Happiness will come soon, but it'll come inside. That's what she said moment. It will come from inside of you. All right, getting into Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, we got the Mother of Swords, the Star, and the Fool. So, the Star is about hopes and dreams and wishes and wants. Mother of Swords, she's described in this deck as almost, she's very discerning, high intuition, but also too critical. And in contrast, we have the Fool. So it's almost like we have someone on this side that is maybe even almost cynical, skeptical, trying to, I'm seeing it's like a tree branch. Let's say you want to hang up a tire swing. So you start bending that branch to see how sturdy it is, and you keep bending it and bending it and bending it until it breaks. And then you go, oh, well, I guess I'll go pick another branch. That branch could have worked fine, but it's almost like sometimes people have an easier time having things not work out for them than accepting that it finally is. In contrast, we have the Fool energy here. And that's about just taking the leap of faith. Because this bird is here on this branch, ready to jump from it. This bird is putting its trust not in the branch beneath its feet, but its own wings. And it hasn't even used its wings yet. This is its first leap. And that kind of thing takes courage. So it's like this bird over here is mature, wise. She has her own kind of strength. But it's almost like it's asking you to develop a new kind of strength. faith in yourself, knowing that no matter where you wind up, no matter how things turn out, your strength is in yourself. And circumstance matters a little less. She, the Mother of Swords, spends a lot of her energy and attention trying to pay attention to her surroundings, looking out for danger, looking out for prey, looking around her. Whereas the Fool carries the energy of the world within himself. So what this feels like is, yeah, you're being asked to develop a new kind of courage, a new kind of strength, a strength that is less rigid and more free-falling. Interesting. Something about the star. I was going to put these cards away and move on, but something about the star is telling me that there is a reason that you are asked to prepare, to open, to soften, to loosen. All right. Moving on to Aquarius. Every single time. Okay. So we got the 5 of Swords, the 2 of Swords, and the 5 of Cups. You know the drill. If you've been a long time watcher, you know the drill. 5 of Swords is self-destruction. 2 of Swords is the blindfold card. The I refuse to look at this card. 5 of Cups is returning over and over again to a dried up watering hole. You know what, let's pull another. What's the outcome? Because this is just a lot of stuck energy. And you've had a lot of stuck at 5 of Pentacles. I think the last reading that I did for you was saying something about your indecision. Here soon, it's not going to be your choice. It's like you're thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and tearing yourself up in the process. And you keep returning to a dried up watering hole. And here soon, that watering hole is just going to disappear on you. It's not going to be an option for much longer. Actually, it isn't even an option anymore. It's almost like you keep letting yourself think that it's an option because it's easier to hold on to false hope, even knowing that it's false hope, than to accept loss. Yeah, again, just trying to hold on to what you have. Even when deep down you know you don't have it. Whoever this Aquarius is that I keep reading for, you better shit or get off the pot soon. Because I'm getting tired of pulling the same cards every time I try to read Aquarius. There are a bunch of Aquarius people that I know and love that aren't shitheads. And I would like to move on to their energy, if that's all right with you. Because this, as a reader, has been like watching paint dry. It's the same thing every week. Shit or get off the pot. Moving on. Pisces. We got the World. The Fool. The Lovers and the Daughter of Wands. This is amazing. You got 3 major arcana. The World, the Fool, the Lovers, and the Daughter of Wands. The World is about cycles. Endings and beginnings. New beginnings. It's actually the card right before the Fool. Because the Fool is about a leap of faith into the new. And then we have the Lovers. And that is a perfect match. That's not just about romantic relationships. This is about something finally clicking, finding your place. This almost feels like the world, it's like with the world here, there's a sense of finality, but it doesn't feel like something that drastic is happening to you. It feels like a sense of finality that you get on the inside. Almost like the decision's been made. The actions have taken place, but it finally settles inside of you. And with the Fool, it's like you're leaping forward with a new sense of certainty. And that's why what comes next clicks. Because you're sure this time. With the Daughter of Wands, this feels like, let me talk about Taurus for a minute. So Taurus, an unevolved Taurus, is going to be stubborn about anything and everything. They don't choose their battles. They don't invest their energy wisely. They start ramming their horns into everything. An evolved Taurus channels that energy into the things that matter to them. And once a Taurus has made up their mind, there is no making them move. Taurus is the builder archetype. We work hard. And so when we set our minds to something, when we can be so unshakable, combined with our strong work ethic, that's how we make things happen. By sticking with things. It's like where Aries might be, they're the initiators, they're the leaders, they're the ones that dive headfirst into something new. They may be the ones that create something new in the world. Taurus are the types that build their success brick by brick over time, spending years studying for something specific, or maybe even starting businesses that are meant to be stable. Maybe not big, but stable. I'm talking about all this because the Daughter of Wands is the card of she's tougher than she looks. She's the card of she's chill until she's not. And this almost feels like Pisces, that is notorious for being kind of wishy-washy, dreamy, maybe even escapists, are developing that backbone. And I say that because of this branch here. It's like your sense of certainty, your newfound sense of certainty is giving you that backbone where you're like, no, I've already made up my mind on this, and there's nothing that you can say that will change it. And it may make you difficult to deal with at times, but it's not a bad thing. This is giving me kind of, what was that quote? He who doesn't stand for something stands for nothing, kind of thing. It's like you're standing for something, and you're not running this time, you're fighting. Interesting. Well, that was an interesting way to close this reading. Well, once I am less sleep deprived, I'm going to be working on all of the zodiac signs for the first half of November. So wish me luck on my new venture. I am probably just going to cook dinner and pass out tonight. If you liked what you saw here today, please feel free to like, share, comment to help me out with the algorithm, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you get notified every time I post a video. And I'll see you in the next one.